Hey bro, little Blue Galaxy video for you. If you can learn anything from me, this would definitely be the thing to learn. The whole Blue Galaxy process is extremely misunderstood and very underrated. People, I get that a lot. You're a crazy person for doing it. Not really. When you understand the math and the process to it, there's really no reason to not do it. Like it's weird to me that other people don't do this on a daily basis. So let me give you my little breakdown, the advantages to it, and hopefully you learn something. People think of Blue Galaxy that the value of it is production related somehow. So I've got 15 charges, and if I hit this really fancy building, I'm gonna get a, some bonus forge points today. So the value of the Blue Galaxy comes from the production that it's multiplying, and the usefulness of Blue Galaxy would be correlated to its level, like an ARC or an AO, where the value of the building itself depends on the level it's at. So a higher level ARC is worth more, and it would be pointless to delete a level 80, 180 ARC and start over from zero, because the value of the building is built into the level itself. But the value of Blue Galaxy is not the production that it multiplies, and the value of the building itself does not come from the level it's at. The value of Blue Galaxy is time, is ultimately what it is. It's not production, it's time. So double the forge points isn't really increasing production, it's reducing time, because without Blue Galaxy it would take you 2 days to double this collection, right? So yeah, you're getting more forge points, but the value is not production, the value is time itself. You're getting the same amount of forge points that you would get in 2 days, so you're not necessarily increasing your forge points, you're just doing it in less time. And the value of the building itself does not depend on the level. It comes from from flipping it, from the double dip. So the more times that you can double dip it, the more advantageous it is. And the problem with not deleting it is that eventually you run it up to level 120, 130, or whatever, where the cost of the double dip, the cost of leveling it, doesn't outweigh the benefit of the quote unquote production that you get out of it. Okay, it's going to cost me 25,000 forge points to level it, but even if I just FSP my Eternal Market 15 times, it may not necessarily cover the cost of the level. So it's pointless to level it beyond that, right? But if you delete it and start over, the cost of the level drops back down to, a couple hundred forge points per level, and now all of a sudden we have 120 levels to double dip again, before we hit that upper threshold where it doesn't make sense to increase the level anymore. Here's what's cool about deleting it though. With a stagnant Blue Galaxy, like something at level 120 that you're not really inclined to level beyond that, I would consider that stagnant, where the value of the building comes from being able to double dip it, and if you stop double dipping Blue Galaxy, it loses its value. So a stagnant Blue Galaxy, the collection theory, most people do it this way. I'm going to take my Blue Galaxy and find 15 buildings throughout the city, that are worth getting a double dip on, and if I don't have 15 buildings that are worth double dipping, I'm going to use a few FSP kits and hit one of those, my favorite building. I'm going to hit my favorite building a few more times, and then just auto collect the rest of the city, right? That's severely underutilizing the true value of Blue Galaxy though. Using a couple FSP kits on Eternal Market is just going to gain you a few extra forge points and some goods. And you of all people should know that forge points are pretty easy to generate in other parts of the game. We could do GBG, we could go sniping. So you have this fancy great building, and the only thing that you're using it for is to increase your forge point production by a couple hundred forge points. It seems like there's easier ways to do that, especially if you're a good sniper like yourself. So here's what's cool about deleting it. If you just deleted Blue Galaxy and you're starting from level 0, every building in your city becomes a Blue Galaxy candidate. It's not just your favorite 15 buildings, and then you auto collect everything else. Every building becomes a Blue Galaxy target. And the advantage with this is that normally we're just going to auto collect our first 15 favorites of Blue Galaxy, right? And then auto collect everything else. We're still going to auto collect everything else with a Blue Galaxy 0, just one Blue Galaxy level at a time, and potentially double it. So it doesn't really matter what you collect. Haulers, I collect that with Blue Galaxy. and it doesn't give forge points, it's a couple goods, mostly the store building kits that I'm after, I'll collect that with Blue Galaxy. Sailmakers out of Lee gives FSP kits, I'll collect that with Blue Galaxy. Yardasil, FSP, totally a Blue Galaxy candidate. Shinto Temple, there's only 64 forge points, but it gives FSP kits, totally a Blue Galaxy candidate. Yukimoto, there's possibility of 10 self-aid kits. It's only 109 forge points, no goods. So most people are probably not collecting this with Blue Galaxy. But if you have a Blue Galaxy level 10 and you have 90 double dips in front of you, what does it matter? It's a disposable Blue Galaxy level. In other words, it takes the need. I have to pick the best 15 targets because I'm not going to double dip my Blue Galaxy, so I have to get the most out of the 15 charges that I have. Now, I mean, if I'm starting at Blue Galaxy 0 and I'm going to stop at 100 and delete it again, I have 600 Blue Galaxy charges to do whatever I want with. And then if I don't want to level it past 100, I'll delete it again and get 600 more charges. And the cool thing is, by deleting it, I can get those 600 charges in 2 days, you know? So, Yukimoto and Empire, I actually collect that with Blue Galaxy. Eco Sanctum, obviously, we want to hit the ones that give FSP with Blue Galaxy, but the ones that don't give FSP just get auto-collected with the rest of the city. Well, if you have a Blue Galaxy level 15, the percentage of doubling is a lot lower than a Blue Galaxy 120, right? But if I was just going to auto-collect that Eco Sanctum anyways, it would have never, there's a 0% chance of doubling it in that scenario, right? But if I'm running up Blue Galaxy levels 16, 17, 18, the 40% chance of that Eco doubling is, I mean, there's an extra 140 forge points that, just a bonus. There you go, 6 forge points. Possibility of 12 FSP kits. I'll take it. Escutcheon Estate is another good one. It's only 25 forge points, a couple goods, but 10 times FSP kits. Buildings that would not normally be collected with Blue Galaxy, but all of a sudden, these Emberfangs, I collect my Emberfangs with Blue Galaxy. It's only 10 forge points, but FSP kits, and you can see on FOE Helper which one is going to give FSP. In your case, you might even target the 5 times self-aid kit fragments, since you're hurting on those. So, Moogle's Temple, FSP, buildings that would not normally be collected, right, with Blue Galaxy. You get the idea there. So the cool thing with deleting it is that all of a sudden we've lifted this criteria that I can only collect these few buildings with Blue Galaxy because I need to get the most out of that Blue Galaxy level. But if you think of those Blue Galaxy levels as disposable, then everything in your city is worth collecting with Blue Galaxy level 17. So my routine for delete and rebuild, usually levels 0 through like 15, I'll look at FOE Helper, figure out which ecos are giving FSP, you know, the normal Blue Galaxy candidates. I'll pick those out and I'll know where those are at. But levels 0 through 15, I just go through the city and literally collect anything. Anything that gives forge points or goods, like the non-FSP ecos, those get collected. Yuki's, Garden of Dreams, whatever, Lagoon Strongholds, just any generic building. It doesn't matter if it doubles or not, and just the forge points from that. If it doubles, cool, there's some bonus forge points. Just dump it all on Blue Galaxy and blast through those first few levels. Level 15 through like 25 is when I'll start picking through, like, okay, Ember Fangs, I have 7 of them that'll double. That's a whole Blue Galaxy level, right? You get 7 charges on those earlier levels. Okay, there's 7 Ember Fangs. That consumes an entire Blue Galaxy level. If it doubles, cool. If it doesn't, that's fine, because if I had kept my Blue Galaxy at level 120 and just auto-collected my city, there's a 0% chance of doubling those. So the 40% chance of doubling those 7 Ember Fangs that give FSP, if they double, cool. If not, it makes no difference to me, because I'm going to go on to level 16 next, and then collect my Escutcheon Estates with Blue Galaxy charges. And then towards the 25 level, I'll start targeting the actual buildings that I'm hoping to double. And the percentage is still pretty low at level 25, but I can repeat the same pattern tomorrow, get up to level 50, and then hopefully over the first 50 levels of Blue Galaxy, some of those Ember Fangs and Escutcheons were doubled, right? And so once I hit level 50 on Blue Galaxy, Remember, disposable levels. These levels are cheap, and I'm not emotionally attached to, like, it's not going to hurt my feelings if something doesn't double. Whereas, like, a BG level 120, if you get 0 doubles for the day, you're like, wow, that really sucks. My Blue Galaxy is defective. But if I go 10 levels from 40 to 50 and don't get a single double, I don't care. It's just auto collecting the city anyways, but you're leveling, you're throwing 100 points per level at Blue Galaxy in the process. Big whoop. And then around level 50, I'll slow down and use the FSP kits, hopefully extra FSP kits that I generated, and target a few of the buildings that I want, specifically for fragments, not necessarily for the forge points, because the whole Blue Galaxy delete process is inherently forge point profitable. Anything that doubles is an improvement over the auto collection that you're normally used to. So level 50 through 80, I'm going to target the fragments that I want. And remember, the beauty of Blue Galaxy is not the increased production, it's not the extra forge points, it's time. So if your normal city production only gives you, we'll say 10 FSP kits is what you collect normally on any day. All of a sudden we're going to get 20, and it's not that we doubled our production, we reduced the time, because buildings that would normally just be auto-collected, like Escutcheons, Emberfangs, Moogle's Temple, things like that, things that give FSP, but they're not normally worth the Blue Galaxy charge, all of a sudden those are getting doubled. So it's not necessarily that we're doubling our production, we're reducing the time that it takes to generate those fragments. So your daily production is still the same, you still get 20 FSP kits per day, but by abusing Blue Galaxy, you've basically accomplished 2 days worth of collection, which is especially useful for buildings like this Garden Level 2, Fjordstorm Harbor, to generate Emberfangs. Normally when you look at that, okay, if, it takes me 90 days to print an Eco Utopia kit, but I could possibly do that in 45 days if I collect it every day with Blue Galaxy, don't FSP it, I'm just going to collect it every day with Blue Galaxy, hopefully it doubles, and now I can generate that kit in 45 days instead of 90 days. Same logic with the Emberfang. Okay, if I collect this every day with Blue Galaxy, it'll only take me 3 days to produce an Emberfang versus 6 days. And that's great. That's a nice idea. But the reality is, after 45 days, there's going to be another event that's going to come out with some new hardware that makes the Emberfang obsolete all of a sudden. So the 6 days that you saved by using Blue Galaxy to print Emberfang fragments is kind of irrelevant anyways, because Emberfangs are already obsolete by the time you finish that process. So time is the issue. It's not so much doubling your production, it's generating those fragments in half the time before they become obsolete. So Emberfang might be a great building, right? Possibility of giving 20 FSP fragments, but the next building that comes out, maybe it doesn't produce FSP fragments, maybe it's just a really great attack building with a bunch of forge points, and you're like, well, what's the trade-off? What's an FSP kit worth when I could just plant, say, a Neo Shrine of Knowledge and get 85 forge points? That kind of supplements the need for the FSP kit, right? Because if the purpose of using FSP kits is to generate forge points, why don't I just plant buildings that produce a lot of forge points? But the purpose of FSP is not forge points, it's fragments. It's to be able to generate 50 Emberfangs in a day and then enjoy that production for the next month. And then when the new building comes out that makes the Emberfang obsolete, that's fine. I'll store all the Emberfangs, plant the new building, but I've already had a month's worth of collection generating all those FSP kits from Emberfangs. Does that make sense? Definitely, one of the key parts of this is the self-aid kits, obviously, which you're hurting on. So that's really more of a reason to delete Blue Galaxy, though, for you. Because all of a sudden you can burn through 30 levels of Blue Galaxy on the early levels, collecting like Yuki Towers, Emberfangs, things that you would normally just auto-collect that do give self-aid kits. You can just burn through 30 levels of Blue Galaxy collecting those buildings. If they double, cool. If they don't, whatever. It's the same as what your collection would normally be if they don't double. But there's a possibility that they do double. Awesome. And then the Blue Galaxy level is only 200 to flip it, run the next level, rinse and repeat. Essentially, you're buying fragments and you're buying time with forge points. So the forge points that it costs to level Blue Galaxy, like why would I waste 50,000 forge points deleting it and running it back up to 100? Well, because Nathan the Savage has 50,000 forge points to dispose What he lacks is self-aid kits or FSP kits. So basically you're buying consumable kits with forge points that you have plenty of, right? And when it's all said and done, you use one of your bonus self-aid kits or your bonus FSP kits, hit something like the Eternal Market and reimburse yourself for the forge points that you lost on the level. Big whoop. But overall, the increased production on fragments is totally worth it. Anyways, hope this is helpful. Hope you learned something. In my case, I need store kits, so my project today is to store some more buildings, plant a few more haulers, and remember my little tip with the haulers. If you generate enough of those with your Yuki towers, you don't actually have to store the haulers. You can just delete them after you get the store kits you need. So that's a pretty good way to increase your inventory without spending the thing that you're trying to increase, you know? So that's a good way to do it. But that's my project today, is to increase my store item production, because at the end of this project, I'm going to end up storing a decent portion of the Ember Fangs that I've printed. And because like I don't have GVG Towers Colossus, I'm down to 2 Checkmate squares right now. So eventually I am going to have to store some Ember Fangs and put my city back to normal. So just something to think about as you're preparing to do that. But highly recommend it. I think it's totally underrated and very misunderstood. People think the Blue Galaxy delete thing is a forge point maneuver. It's really not, though. It's about fragments. So hope this is helpful, bro. I'll talk to you later. Bye.